Hamida, hello. From Kenya. All right, I'm gonna turn on my iPad. Good afternoon. Has it started for you guys?
The industrial grade products you need. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Can you guys hear me? Has it started for you?
The industrial grade products you need. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Can you guys hear me? Has it started for you?
The industrial grade products you need. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Hopefully that stops. I don't know what's happening. Can you guys hear me? Has it started for you?
The industrial grade products you need. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Hopefully that stops. I don't know what's happening. Can you guys hear me? Has it started for you?
The industrial grade products you need. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Hopefully that stops. I don't know what's happening. Can you guys hear me? Has it started for you?
The industrial grade products you need. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Annette, can you also hear that? Stops. I don't know
Ah,
what's
that's
happening. Can you guys hear me? Has it started for you? Hello. Yes, I'm baking some macarons today. Just trying to make sure my app isn't being weird. Can you guys hear me now? Hopefully the issue has been fixed. Yay, Amy says it stopped. Okay, cool. Whew, I hate having to start a new live stream when I have given out the link already. Okay, so we're started. We're doing it. A Ranger ad, yeah. I got that too. Okay, weird. It's gone though. So I'm streaming vertically now. YouTube suggests it. So hopefully lots of people are on their phone. So it's a really nice, it's even closer than usual with the landscape kind of way. Hi from Tennessee. Hello, Judy. Marcel, hello. Okay, thank you guys for helping me with that troubleshooting in the beginning. We're making some Hello Kitty macarons. Shayna, hello from New Jersey. Lisa, good afternoon. Good to see you guys. Okay, so I don't know how many people have Instagram, but I was mentioning I'm just not, hi Doreen, I am not the cutesy artist of a macaron maker. You know, I just love a good circle, but I try, and sometimes people ask for them. And so I'm doing my daughter's teacher. She is having her daughter graduate from high school. So they asked for some Hello Kitty macarons, and I'm just going to, I got this template, javacupcake.com, if you guys are interested. And so I'm going to just attempt like a basically trial run so that I make sure that I remember, okay, maybe this template's a little too big, or, you know, whatever. I like to do trial runs when I haven't done something for a really long time. Hello from Lebanon. Hi, Oscar. I bet they're going to be adorable. Thank you, Amy. I'm so glad you popped on. I hope you've been feeling better, Amy. Yeah, Lisa, they're cute, right? So for, you know, we're just going to do a regular, I think I have a 12, Wilton tip 12 on my piping bag right now. But I have a coupler, which is going to allow me to change out my tip for a Wilton 8 after, and so I can just do the smaller details for the ears once I pipe the circles. And then for the bows, I've done in the past, I've made royal icing transfers and done my own bows. I really love a good heart sprinkle. 2 heart sprinkles together to make a bow, and it's super simple. So I got these off Amazon. Just some heart sprinkles, and we'll put them together and it will look like the bow up there, and we'll bake with those on. So once we pipe and we do the ears, hopefully there's not a skin developed yet and my macarons are still wet and I can adhere the bows. So I'll have to work a little quickly in my dry environment right now. West Long Branch by the shore. Oh, you guys are talking from New Jersey. Okay. Okay, I hope you guys connect and you guys are macaron friends forever. Here is that template. So I'm just gonna do white macarons, and then we will do, I'm gonna try to get away with not doing royal icing. So I'm gonna use my Chef Master pens. Yellow for the nose, that Hello Kitty nose, and black for the eyes and the whiskers. So we'll see. If not, if it doesn't look that great, and a little bit of raised nose and eyes for the details would be better, I will go with that. But I always like to try the easy way, and then we'll go from there. So I've got that piping tip, like I said, ready with the coupler. So this allows me to switch out my tip. A lot of people use tipless bags, which I think is awesome if you are used to them. But I've never bought the tipless ones, so it just makes, these ones have that seam down the side, and it's just really annoying when I'm doing it because it doesn't come out nicely with this seam. This seam. You can't really see it, but okay. Let's get started on the macarons. We're doing just a one times batch, which is the 100 grams of egg whites. We got 100 grams in here, 90 grams of granulated sugar with 2 grams of egg white powder. I'm gonna toss that with a fork. And then we have 130 grams of both our confectioner sugar and almond flour already sifted in a bag. Okay, let me see if I can get you guys a better view of my mixer. I am still not used to, it doesn't get high enough. I'm gonna get nice and bubbly. This is the most annoying part. Lots of noise from my mixer, and then we'll move on though. So I'm not gonna add any colorant. You could add titanium dioxide. The Sugar Art has their white. I really like it, but I also see that it's not that big of a difference if you just don't use anything. And I'll give some tips on baking. Nicole, can you turn the bag inside out so you don't have that overlapping seam? That could be really, that's smart, Annette. I've never thought of that. I was going to make my Max white tube. Oh no, violet spilling. Lisa, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sure the violet will look beautiful. Yeah, Shayna says the same thing. I hate that though. If it was the powdered color, I don't know if you were doing like just a drop of gel color or powder color, but that will take over. Huh. Okay, when I have my powdered egg whites and my sugar, I just make sure it's equally dispersed. That way my powdered egg whites aren't gonna clump in my liquid egg whites. And that powdered egg whites, I've put it in since the beginning. It's just, you know, it kind of takes away the need for aging your egg whites. It adds strength, more proteins in your meringue without having to increase moisture. So you're getting more strength, and it's basically the ratio is like you would have aged your egg whites for a week or so. Okay, now you don't see any clumps of the egg whites anymore, and I'm going to mix powders. Yeah, yes, Lisa, they are. I'm gonna mix, and then once it's foamy, kind of sprinkle in my sugar, and then we'll go till stiff peaks, and then we can move on from the loud mixer. I see still. Sorry, I'm trying to get a good angle for you guys. That's pretty good. Oh my goodness. Doreen, thank you so much. Wow. Okay, I'm a little past the point where I usually add. It's all foamy in there. Sorry, I was just so taken back. I'm gonna add all my sugar at this point and just keep it going on low so that my sugar can dissolve before I really add any volume in here. So the main thing when you're making your meringue is that you don't want your granulars of sugar to still be present when you're whipping up in volume. Having sugar particles, chunks will get you, obviously a grainy meringue, as well as when it melts, it can brown your macarons in the oven. So you want it to all dissolve in here at this point before you add volume. Okay. Sorry, that's a great question. Hi, Lorene. Nice to see you. I'm going to text some answers to your questions. Well, I appreciate you, Doreen. Thank you so much. The sugar up powders you recommended, so great. Yes, the colors are so intense, aren't they? I love the sugar art, both gels and powders, because they're both good for different things. They have their strengths in different areas, I feel like. Okay, so how you tell if your sugar is dissolved. This is something you can do it while you're still learning. I don't recommend stopping your mixer all the time, but to tell if it's dissolved, you can feel the stream. If you feel the granulars in your, in your fingertips, then keep whipping on low. Mine's all dissolved, so I'm gonna hit it up to about a 6 to get some volume. Wash my hands. All right, let's see here. Okay, so it's nice and white. We don't have a lot of volume yet, so I want to keep it still at a 6 just to develop some strength, get those bonds happening with our protein structure in our meringue, and then we will turn her up a little bit more. You could also use cream of tartar if egg white powder is hard to find. It's an acid and it works differently in the way it stabilizes your meringue, but it does help in So egg white powder strengthens in a way with the extra protein, and then cream of tartar will stabilize with the acid and the reactions happening, helping the liquid, the water of the egg whites, not separate from your meringue. So once you start to see some striations, you know it's starting to build some strength. Terry and Shayna, great questions. They asked if you can use both cream of tartar and egg white powder. I have had people ask me this before. I haven't done it myself. I need to try it. I don't see why it would cause a problem. You just want to make sure you don't use too much egg white powder to dry out your meringue and like have a final product that's just too dry and not have that chew involved. Okay, we've got volume definitely, and I'm gonna turn it up to get some real big volume. And Marcel, I see your comment, and I'll talk to you in once. I really appreciate this, thank you. But once the mixer is annoying me how loud it is, and then I'll talk. It's getting there. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's starting to really keep the striations on the side. Once the whisk moves through it, you can basically see the trail it leaves, and that's what I mean by the striations. See how it's clumped around the whisk too? When I stop it, let's check it at this time. So nice and stiff, but what I always tell the people when I'm in a class is to really get your whole whisk around just to make sure everything is stiff in there. I would like a little bit more. See how it's folding over on the sides? I'd like it a little stiffer. Even though it's pretty darn stiff, I'm gonna go about 30 more seconds here. There's like definitely a range. These would be fine, especially with egg white powder. It's kind of like a safeguard and gives you a wider range of stiffness that you can use, but I'm gonna go a tiny bit stiffer. Hi, Dawn. Yes, you're not that late. All right. So, go around. All right. Nice and stiff. It is still, I'm trying to get it to focus. It's still elasticy, which means it's not dried out looking is how I'm saying that. Sorry, the lighting is kind of bad, but it's stuck around the whisk. It's nice and stiff and inside my bowl. We're good to go. Oh yeah, Shayna, I know I saw that penny or dime. I think it's a dime, right? The dime trick to adjust it. All right, I need to get my KitchenAid serviced in general so we got it nice and stiff. It's glossy still. That was the word I was looking for, not elastic. And it's not dried out. So I'm gonna transfer this. You can definitely work in your KitchenAid bowl or whatever mixer or hand mixer you have. You can work in that. But my preference is to change it to a wide mouth bowl. Okay, so let me get my KitchenAid out of the way. She is 16 years old. I got her for a wedding present from my mom, and she hasn't ever been serviced. Why am I so bad at taking things? Okay, let's see. Here we go. Sorry about all the movement. If you guys have a phone and you're on it, is it annoying? Like, does the chat go into the picture? Yes, a dime. Oh, yeah. We'll have to, I just want it to be at a good spot so you guys can see. Grease change. Ooh, okay. Well, then I need to get mine. I need to do something because I've never done anything with mine. But what I was saying, see, it's still not that stiff. I did this last time on the live too. What I was saying though, egg white powder will make it so you have to whip longer to get to a stiff peak. So don't worry if you're like, oh, I'm whipping so long. It does slow down the process. Just sort of like cold egg whites also slow down the process. So I'm gonna just kind of level it out so it can take more of my dries, and I usually do this in 2 to 3 editions depending on how big the batch is. So I'm just gonna toss it in right now at this point. I'm not at all pushing. I am just turning it up and over itself over and over again. And I'll like cut through the middle and do it. So I'm never pushing down at this point. Just going around in circles. If you don't off it, it can run out. Yeah, well, I really need to get my KitchenAid service then. It's like, where do you even do it? Especially up here. I don't want to ship it away and not have it. Okay. Once it's pretty much all in, do your next edition. My husband bought me a KitchenAid over 30 years ago. It's time for a new one. I love that. I don't know. It's fun to get different sizes so then you can have like them be good for different things, right? Like I use my bigger 8-quart one for a lot of my doughs, and then this baby for my 5-quart for my macarons. My meringue. New color and bigger. Ooh, I mean, all the colors are so cool these days. I just got dries all over my iPad. Okay, so again, I am just tumbling. And then, oh yeah, Marcel, you were saying that you've been making Max the Swiss method, but you've been having hollows. I wish I had more experience with the Swiss method. I just know Camilla is definitely the queen from Pies and Tacos, is definitely the queen of that method. And I'm sure she has some good tips. But I don't have a lot of experience. I've done it only a couple times, and I think all of them were on lives. Okay, so we're not even splitting our batter here, so I don't have to worry about, but this is where I would do it when all the dries are in and it's still really thick. But I'm not gonna have to worry about that. I'm not gonna even add color. So at this point, I'm just gonna start the deflating process or the macaronage. And so just make sure before you do that, you've got all your dries incorporated, and then kind of like check the bottom, make sure there's no dries stuck on the bottom, and then you're set to start the macaronage, right? So you're gonna push down on the side. Oh, sorry, so it keeps freezing when my phone, this is annoying, when my phone goes black. So push down, up the side of your bowl, and then around. And then tumble it a few times and then push up. So everyone has different methods for their macaronage, right? I just do this, twist, kind of just toss it over, do a couple tumbles here and there, and that's my lingo. Tumble, press, tumble, press. But some people will spread it all against the sides. You could definitely do that. I'm not as comfortable with that method. It's whatever you feel is good. A nice sturdy spatula is really nice for this part too. Something not too flimsy so you can really work it and press out those bubbles. Hello from Colombia. Look online, you can do it yourself. Okay, I'm gonna have to. I've also wanted to service, there's so many things, like service the laundry, you know, my washer dryer. Say a prayer. Okay, so once we're at a flowy consistency, I'll stop. But it's still too thick for that. It's not flowing. It's not spreading out quickly enough in my bowl, so I know I'm gonna keep going. So I'm gonna just press on that again. And a lot of people, like I've had a lot of classes over the years, they'll have, when you have like this batter, instead of loosening up, it thickens up and gets really weird on you. It's usually a problem with your almond flour. So try a different brand or switch it out. It's usually a really oily almond flour and it's just sucked up all of the moisture. Or a super absorbent almond flour. Still not there as I'm talking. Oh, Mother's Day. Does KitchenAid have sales a lot? I feel like I don't see. I don't know if I even follow them. That could be dangerous. I'm using Kirkland almond flour just because the price point is great. When I'm actually gonna make this for this graduation, I think I'll probably use Blue Diamond from the grocery store and just bite the extra cost because it just tastes better to me. And I'm only doing 3 dozen, so I can totally get away with that. It would be a little different if I was making dozens upon dozens for a business. I used Blue Diamond from at that point, but it was from Restaurant Depot, I think, or something. Okay. Cost matters, right? But I'm only doing a few. Okay, I like this flow. She's flowing down, not too fast and thin. It's nice and thick still. And then I'm watching in my bowl to see if it's spreading. So this is gonna help you know if once you pipe, it'll spread and like have a nice smooth surface. So look to see if in like 15-20 seconds, if it's kind of died down in your bowl, then you know you're good. Once you pipe, it's gonna smooth out and have a really nice circle for you. So it's evening out. I'm just gonna do a few more tosses. Remember, it does get worked in your bag as well, your piping bag. You'll work it a little bit more. And so I always err on a little bit under rather than too thin and spreading like crazy. Okay. I'm happy with this, and I'm going to put it into my piping bag with my piping tip, and we're gonna pipe. Did not get that nice and clean. All right. So, get this stuff out of the way. We will pipe. Watching Julie. Aw. I got a notification from Facebook, from Instagram saying Julie's watching. So thank you, Julie. Hello, C. Hernandez. I use Blue Diamond, and sometimes the batter thickens after a macaronage. Yeah, so if it's thickening and your macarons aren't turning out well, you might want to try drying them out in the oven instead of getting a whole new bag. It's so annoying, but our almond flour can, depending on its absorbency of the batch, it can suck up all the moisture, and it can be really hard to get a nice macaron as a result. I wish I knew what happened with the process to make that happen, but yeah. I'm gonna turn on my oven to 300. I have a pizza stone in here, or not a pizza stone, but I have a Broad & Taylor baking steel pan. I don't want that in my oven because for me it makes my oven shoot up in temperature, whereas some ovens it helps you regulate. I'm gonna put my template in. Helps you regulate the temperature, but mine is weird. Okay, so I'm gonna go do a circle, and then I'll switch for all of them. We'll see if it stays wet enough, and then I'll do the ears, and we'll put on our heart sprinkles for the bow. And after everything, we bake and everything, then we'll do the eyes and the nose. I forgot a scribe. All right, let's see if this template produces something that I like. Sometimes I get annoyed with waiting, and I won't wait for this smaller tip for the ears, but we'll see. I'm gonna try. And this is that seam I was talking about, and Annette had a great idea to turn it inside out, which I might try. I love that. Okay, so just kind of do your regular circle for ovals, and then bring your tip side to side. That's how I like to do it, at least. I'm gonna try to work semi-fast so the sprinkle adheres. Okay, let's see if we can do this the right way, and then I'll switch. This is when it would be nice to have two piping bags, so you don't have to switch, but I'm trying this way first. Okay, just little ears, and then we're gonna use our scribe to really help. I should actually use the scribe first to make sure the ears are gonna land well. Make sure so that's like our first one. This one is the one that's worked a little bit. So just use your scribe to kind of fill out your template and then point those ears a bit. I never want them too pointy, because then obviously they'll brown at the very tip when you're doing a smaller design like that. You just got to be careful, especially with white. Some of them don't even really need. These ones I piped better. Okay, and then ears for these guys. I'm just kind of doing a dot and not worrying exactly how they look at this point, and then I'll use that scribe to really help it meld it in. All right, and then once we have these all done, we will put the bow on before baking. I like to make sure that your ear isn't gonna fall off of your head, right? Just make sure you kind of use your scribe to make this batter one, I guess you could say. And then we'll add our bow right in the corner here at the ear. And we'll only need a bow for half of them, right? Because the other half will be the back. All right. Let me turn my other oven on. And the sprinkle part. Let's do it. Lorraine, thank you so much. Okay, you can definitely, this is kind of tedious. I like using some tweezer, and then we're just gonna put it right by the ear. And then you can see it's like a little bow, right? So I gotta work quick with these. These will all be faces, the front, I should say. All of these little hearts are kind of curled up, so I gotta choose ones wisely. There we go. I will, once I am done with this, I'll look at your guys' comments. Really, whoop, flying one. I had to order, I thought Michael's would have these, but they had these huge red ones and they wanted pink. And the red ones were just so big, they wouldn't fit on here. I'm failing with my bows. There we go. Okay. I don't know if I should do ear. What do you guys think? Should I do ears for the other half of the ones that will be connected, or just the body? Like, do you know what I mean? Like the back, should they have little ears on them? Oops, I pushed that one in too hard. I should eat before these lives so I'm not shaking so badly. Okay, almost done. Make sure this doesn't go. Looks great, so cute. Grandmother, she would love the pink hearts. Sprinkle Queen, I love that. Aren't they cute? And then it's just, I'm not making it look easy with my shaking, but it's just cleaner than my royal icing decor abilities too. That one's broken. There we go. You could definitely do this after and adhere it with some royal icing or buttercream if you wanted, or white chocolate. You could do that. I love being done with them mostly, you know, once you have them baked. So I'm always a fan of doing it before baking. But there's the little bows. Kind of push some of them down too far. That's okay. All right. And then we will do backs for these afterwards. But we'll just try these out first. Let's see what you guys, I made baby Yodas. Oh my goodness. I wasn't thinking and did ears on all of them. Oh, just round. Okay, good, Doreen. I'm glad to hear that. Going up into the ears, then yes. Oh, that's a good point. Just put your first tray in, Lisa. Whoop, whoop. I'm lazy. I would do rounds for back. I love it. You guys, oh yeah. Let's just do, I'll do a couple just rounds. And then, no, because it's only going to be, yeah, I'll do a couple just rounds. Or ovals, I guess. Making a mess with the batter. Okay. One, two, three. Probably can't fit with this little lip, I have a tiny lip on this pan. I'll try to do a couple more. It makes it so the airflow isn't great and I will get some lopsided, but this will be a good tester. Oh, you guys can't even see the piping, huh? Okay. So we've got 6 backs. And we need 3 more on the next tray, just so I remember. And then I'm gonna be using my convection little oven for this tray. And that means I don't need to rest. We'll see if the airflow is okay between. These are really close together. Not my preference, but. All right. Let's try it out. This one looks a little funky. Okay. I hate the switching out part. Okay, here's this. Oh, you know what? Is it? Yeah, I'm gonna turn it to this browns my product really fast. So I'm gonna check it at, it usually takes about 13 minutes, but I'm gonna check it at 11 just to see if I can get away with under baking it a tiny bit to keep that to keep that white. So I have it, and then I preheat at 300 Fahrenheit and I drop down to 275 when they go in. And then I'm gonna keep a close eye on that timer just to make sure we don't get too much browning. And then let's do another tray. So let's see, it says, can you use the pan flipped upside down? This one, the lip is so small, I've never tried, but I definitely do that with these ones that have the larger lip. So I'll do that now. You should see the color I made last night. Ooh, what'd you make, Lisa? So I'm gonna have definitely on this tray, maybe I'll try it though on the other one. This tray I'm gonna do it upside down, get my template again, and go. So, oops, I saw someone on YouTube. I wish I would have written it down, but she did this and she cut out the eyes and the nose. I don't know how she did it smoothly, but I cut it out just so I can kind of lay it over my macaron at the end, and so I can kind of place where I want my eyes and my nose, because that's the biggest thing when I'm decorating. I overthink everything and I'm like shaking and I never do things symmetrically. So I'm hoping that this little template too will help me kind of guide where I want the eyes and the nose, but we'll see. Somehow I truly know how to mess things up. Emerald green, oh, so pretty. Baby Yoda, I want to see those Baby Yoda macarons. We just got into The Mandalorian, or we just watched them all the seasons. And man, I was never like a Star Wars fan, but now I am. They're so entertaining. But I heard there may be a 4th season and that Pedro Pascal might not be in it. So that's sad. Okay. Big rounds. And the biggest thing when you're doing like little, hollow from Kenya. Oh, hello. Hello. The biggest thing to when you're doing like little decor, like the ears, is just to make sure they're not super thin in batter. So make sure you kind of plump them up like your normal body, so that it doesn't burn too as well. Let's see here. Do a template on a clear acetate sheet with cutouts for features. Do a template on clear. Like, how would you do? Like, would you, to get it on the acetate, would you have a cutter for that, or how would you get circles in the acetate? I'm trying to think. Like a Cricut, because I love that idea. So 3 of these are going to be the backs again before I switch over. Okay. And then and Lorraine, I didn't get to really thank you because I was doing the sprinkles. Thank you so much for your donation to the channel. Really appreciate you as well. Okay. So you can print on acetate or burn them with a hot stick. Oh my goodness. Shane, are you like a crafting queen? I don't know if I'm cut out for that. Okay, these 3 will be backs. I feel like if you put the ears too close together, then they look like bears. They start to look like bears. So you gotta be careful. I love you guys' tips because you know me. My decorative skills are not amazing. The other day I volunteered at my kids' school to do I was actually signed up to sell tickets at the front door for a carnival thing we were putting on. And we were low on face painting, so they put me on face painting duty instead. And these kids' faces were painted with really funny looking butterflies, and one person asked for like a claw around their eye, and she immediately asked for it to be removed when she saw my artistic abilities. It was really funny, to be honest. Bows. This is probably a little painful to watch, the bows. I need to wash my hands of the macaron batter. I want to show you guys how the other ones are doing, but I need to do this while they're still wet. Dun, 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 dun. Has anyone, let's see, my grandson was, oh, Navarro, oh my goodness. That is amazing. 6-2, yes. Now I need backs for these 6. Thanks for keeping me on top of things. I love it. One. Trying to make sure I don't burn my other ones that are in the oven as well. Come here, baby. Ah. Alrighty. You did it. Now if you're in a super dry environment and this would not stay for the amount of time it took, or maybe you're faster, which is great, you could definitely adhere after, or you have to just pipe a few at a time and then adhere and then go on to more. All right, here is what's happening in here. So they're getting their feetsies and not browning as of yet. So that's good news. Okay, let's do some 6 more bats. And we might just have to, I might have to try to save that batter for when we're not live, so you don't have to watch me do more of these. Oops, I still got my small tip on. I don't want to press all that batter through a small tip because it does work it more. I really don't like doing that. If you're a chronic under mixer, a small tip could be really good for you because then it has to work harder to get through and it might be at a better stage after mixing, after piping. All right, oh, shoot, okay. Let's see where we're at. Still pretty wiggly, still white. I'm just gonna kind of I'm gonna turn it back on and just leave it for like 30 more seconds. All right. All right, there we go, done. Here's our Hello Kitty start, and we'll finish them in a second. I'm gonna let these cool. And then I'll start this. We'll just put this into the oven. Let me just make sure that these are nice and fit the round, so they'll match up well. Okay, so do you guys have questions on other things regarding when you're making your macarons? I'm excited to kind of share. We'll compare the white of this oven relative to the white of that oven. So these ones are dry over here, but these aren't. So I'm gonna let these dry a little bit longer because this is not an air bake tray, and these need a nice, on my big oven, they need to have a skin before I bake. I'm gonna hold off on the rest of the piping for the sake of the live. Clean up my space, and then I can answer questions. All right. Oops. Okay, so let's see. No one else has questions? We've done this for an hour. We've baked one tray now. Let's see if they're ready to come off. Definitely best to leave your macarons till they cool. Or else they'll stick to your mat as you try to peel them off. So you want to make sure that you let them cool completely, which if you want them to cool faster, see how it came off? It's because they're not cooled at all, but I'm just trying to show you. So that can be stopped by waiting till they're cooled, and you will be like, it's just night and day. So sometimes you're like, oh crap, I underbaked them. Other times it's simply just waiting for them to cool. And most of the time that's what it is. So if you want to remove your silicone mat or parchment, whatever you baked on, off of your mat or your stone, whatever you baked on tray. There we go. Get it off of the tray if you want it to cool faster. Or if you underbaked a tiny bit, leave it on the tray to cook a little bit without the heat hitting the top. That's a thing I do with my white macarons. I'll underbake it a minute, but I'll keep it on my hot tray to continue the baking a little bit more to make it nice and white. Okay, when I use blue diamond, my macarons are more vibrant. Oh, interesting. C. Hernandez said that between the different almond flours, she finds that Bob's Red Mill will produce a chewier finish, but Blue Diamond will do the same, but it takes a lot longer to mature and will have a shinier end product than the Bob's Red Mill. That's very interesting. I find that, so once you have your Blue Diamond final product, do you find that it does mature as nicely? Like, does it have that same chew, or is it still a little bit more dried? If you don't rest, supposedly you get a nicer shine too. Lisa, How much hollow do you consider normal? Definitely, I'll show you. Like, I feel like a little gap, like, it depends on how thick you obviously pipe your macaron, but a little gap that allows for you to have a really nice fluffy filling still is totally fine. And I don't call that even a hollow. It does mature nicely, but it takes a day longer. Interesting. I love hearing that. Yeah. I wonder why that is. Because that's annoying for your, like, it's nice for if you're doing farmers markets and you want them to stay longer a little bit. They probably, you know, take longer to over mature as well. But that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing. I like to have shells ready to fill in a pinch. So is it better to fill than freeze or freeze empty shells? I like to, if I don't know, I like to freeze my shells empty. It doesn't mean that I haven't held them in the freezer filled. I've done that so many times too. But I usually love to have them frozen, unfilled, and then take them out when I'm ready to fill them. And I'll even pop them in the freezer a night after they're filled. But I just usually don't keep filled macarons too long in the freezer at this stage because I'm not selling. But sometimes if, like, I had a farmer's market and I didn't sell out and they were, my extra max were in a cooler and kept well in whatever compact cooler I had, I'd put them back in the freezer when I got home so I could sell them the next week. So I've really done both. But at home, when I don't know what I want to fill with them yet, I will keep them plain shells. When I use, I am not sure why that is either, because I never answered that. I'm just taking in your information because I think that's very interesting. C. Hernandez. Yeah, I find that intriguing. But Doreen, if you're filling with something like curds or even salted caramel, it freezes fine, but it doesn't freeze as well. So think about, like, buttercreams and ganaches are great to freeze. But if you're doing a filling, even jams can, like, over mature if you have a freezer that's not like a deep freezer and it's kind of defrosting and it's going through a cycle of defrost, refreeze, defrost, refreeze. So just be cognizant of how wet your fillings are if you're freezing them. Okay, I'm gonna put this next batch in. And then we can, the max should be done. So I'm touching, nothing's on here. I mean, nothing's like coming off. And these were the ones I piped last. They are dry. Oh, this one's still sticky actually. It's more humid today than I was expecting. I think I'll wait just to be careful. And we can do this. Diana, do I need to rest when I do a French method mac? So Diana, it depends on your oven and your baking mat, excuse me, your baking tray. When I'm baking in this little Oster toaster oven, Oster, this little guy here, it's on my Amazon storefront if you want more details on the actual model. Costco has a different brand, like it has the same brand but a different model. I've heard the newer model of this Oster toaster oven is kind of more powerful and people are having a hard time finding how to bake them, right? So just be careful with the newer model. This one's the one I know and I really like it for macarons. But either way, that one, excuse me, I keep yawning. That one doesn't need rest. It's convection bake. I bake on convection bake and it's so small that it's able to circulate the air well enough to really dry out the top before it starts to rise in the heat. So if you have a convection oven that you trust and the fan is really efficient and can dry dry the top of your macaron shells before the heat hits the bottom, you could probably bake in your oven without resting. However, I've never had a big oven. I've had gas and electric. Never had one that I can do no rest with unless I have an air bake tray, which is designed to help you not have burned bottoms on your cookies and stuff. So it's an insulated pan, and it has two kind of aluminum pieces and then air in the middle. And that allows your macarons to heat up really slowly so the oven dries out the top and creates that crust before the heat rises, and you don't have volcanoes then. So I use a combination. So yeah, so if you are baking in a big oven without an air bake tray, I'm so sorry. I've got like the yawns or something. Maybe I'm not getting enough oxygen. Then you can pop them right in the oven, even a big one. So, but with the regular aluminum trays, I always suggest resting first or testing like 2 shells. And then obviously with the resting and how long you rest, made me yawn. I'm sorry, Dawn. And then with how long you rest, Diana, it depends on your environment too. Some people live in really humid environments and they're resting for 2 hours long. Like, it's just, you're just waiting till that skin develops. In California and here, usually in like the winter, things are dry like as soon as I pipe them. So it depends. My rest time has been from like 10 minutes and we're ready to go to 45 minutes with a dehumidifier running in Portland and waiting for like all of the skin to develop, I guess. Okay. That was a lot to be said, and I am sorry it's not like a straightforward answer because that's annoying. But if you're ever testing things out, okay, we're dry now. I'm going to pop these in. Yes, of course. If you're ever testing things out, just pipe like 2, 3, like 4 shells on a sheet tray and test it and see, because if it could save you that much time and you don't have to rest, how awesome. Okay, I set a timer for 9 minutes. I preheated my big oven at 300 and then I drop it down to 275 when I'm actually baking. And that is just to keep my internal temperature around 300. When I'm doing white macarons, I usually like it around 290 just so it doesn't brown too much. But that's the reason why I drop my oven temps. It's not because I want to bake all the way at 275. Because that does produce hollows a lot of the time. If your oven is actually registering as low as 270, the slow rise is going to have your macaron solidify in its bake before it reaches to the top of that shell, and then you could get a hollow macaron. So too low of a temperature can cause issues. Here's our little Hello Kitty beginnings. Let's see here. I feel like like I said, I kind of underbake my white macarons so they don't brown. In which case you really have to peel back the mat so that even a little bit came off still, so that it doesn't pull off the whole back. You could also freeze your silicone mat, and that will help things release a little bit easier without taking off some of your cookie. There we go. So we've got little feetsies. Let's see if it, I like the no back. And let's just see, let's attempt to do some decorating. So my oven is set for 9 minutes, and then I will turn my tray around for even baking and set another 9. Things have been baking really fast lately up here. I don't know, with the weather changing. it might go back down. But, okay. So I'll pair these up in a bit, but right now let's just try to do a face so we can call it a day for you. And of course, the middle of your tray too usually bakes the least amount. So be extra cautious when you're pulling off those middle macs. All right, we're good. Let's try one. Do a yellow nose. So this, let's see. There's a fine tip on this side and a thicker tip on this side. I'm gonna try the thicker tip and then we'll see if I needed to not do that. Basically, I'm just laying it over. Okay, and then I'm gonna try not to move the template so I can do the eyes. Should have had my marker ready. Okay, I'm doing the finer tip for the eyes. All right, it's not bad. I'm gonna just kind of fill in these ovals. And then we'll do the whiskers. So it's I mean, it will do. I don't know where to put the whiskers, if I should put them up higher. What do you guys think? Of course, I think I need some sparkles or something on it too. Does that pass? Is that cute enough? I'm not sure. I'm never satisfied with my abilities. I shouldn't say that. Sometimes I really like what I make. But when you see you're like inundated with all these like dang goodies on Instagram, Leanne, she's so good. She has all this Hello Kitty stuff. Should I put these out here next time? Maybe? Instead of in, maybe that's too far in. But they're cute, right? Let's see, let's try again. I'll get these ready this time. And then just kind of laying the template over it. The acetate would be awesome, as suggested earlier, because then I can actually see where I'm laying it over. But see, I'm kind of going over to the side too much. This one I messed up. She's real low. She should be up here a little bit higher. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna try to do the whiskers out here a bit. Okay. So besides the face being way too low on this one, the whiskers out here look better, right? I think I like that one better. And then just for me to see, I guess, I mean, I could do ears on the back, but this one has a smaller ear. This poor guy. She is like all messed up. Yeah, I think no ears is just easier. They are perfect. Oh, thank you. We are our worst critics, aren't we? Oh my goodness, I agree. Maybe a little, Cricut stencil for the facial. I don't have a Cricut, but I do have a silhouette, which is, I think, something very similar, but I haven't used it for ages. So I think since like 2020. Maybe I should get it back out and learn how to work her again. Being low is adorable. Aw, thanks, Lisa. Okay. Perfect. Well, then there's our little Hello Kitty. She is cute. I feel like the bow could be even bigger if the face is so low, but either way, I think they're cute. I'll have to work on symmetry with the ears and getting them a little pointed, I think. But I think they're cute. I'm so happy you guys helped me with different things. I definitely should do a little stencil with the acetate. Sherry, thanks so much. But I feel like those are cute. Listen, don't look at this ear. Hello, kitty. And then let's just see how these ones are doing. We got 42 seconds left. And then I'll flip the tray, and then we'll have to bake another 9 minutes or so I can do some more eyes. Let me get some glitter going. But I have seen, like, the nose is so light. I have seen it outlined in black, but I feel like if I do more, it's gonna make it look bad. Like, that's what when I was face painting, and I would try to help the details stand out. It was so funny. I would just make it worse. Like just a circle, like someone asked for a Pokemon ball on their face. Shouldn't be that hard, and somehow it was. Okay. I need another minute. That's the worst sound in the world. 8 more minutes. We're still at 300 in there. Checked my oven temperature. Awesome. And they're nice. They're rising beautifully. So my little Oster toaster oven, she bakes really nicely. Let me see if I can break her. So she bakes these really nicely, right? They're super full, and she's just a good baker. But when that happens, they brown a little bit easier because they are, you know, at a higher temperature basically than my bigger oven. So those keep it a little bit more white, but I do see more of a gap between my macarons, between the shell and the filling when I'm in the big electric oven. So that, I feel like I was gonna say something else, but yeah. So there is still like a gap, but it's not big. Oh, that's what I was gonna say too, the feet. The feet also get more ruffled in my big oven. They are, they're less tall, like they're pretty small. Some people love that look. Some people like taller feet. It's everyone's preference. I really don't care. These ones are super ruffled even because they were in the back and it was really hot back there. It's the one I broke open, so it's cracked on the top. But either way, the ruffled feet is simply just like a higher heat usually, unless you're having an issue with spreading batter, and then usually you've overmixed it. But the higher heat of my oven, they bake them really nicely, but I'll also get some ruffled feet. So it really depends on what you guys want aesthetically, because I don't care. I love them either way. I just want them to not be overbaked and have a really great bite. That's my main concern. Just know that like your oven could be causing the issues. If you don't want such ruffle, turn your oven temperature down, but you might in turn have a tiny bit more of a gap between the shell and your cookie, like the meat of the cookie. If you want more straight feet, which my big oven does, it's usually a little bit taller too because they're not rising so fast and then collapsing over the feet with the higher heat. and that is just, yeah, lower heat will give you the taller feet. It's funny because that kind of goes, sometimes too low of heat won't produce your feet. So there's, I feel like contradicting myself, but if you go too high, it will rise and fall. A little bit higher, you'll rise and keep it nice. And then too low, you will have small feet too. So, you know, macarons. Why do I get more hollows when my feet are taller? Doreen, great question. Your oven temperature might be right at that spot where it's a little bit too low, so that your feet are growing, and then, which is great, but it's not too fast where it's going to collapse over it and it kind of solidifies at the tall, but then the middle of your macaron sinks in afterwards. But do you notice anything with your oven temperature at that point when your feet are taller? I haven't made macarons for so long. They taste so good. Excuse me while I eat them. Another reason, Doreen, I was waiting to see if you noticed a change with your, oh, there we go. It keeps at 300 and they get a little brown, but if I go any longer, I get lower. It'll go, okay. Yeah, it could be the temperature oven. I mean, the oven of the temperature of the oven. But also I see when I undermix a little bit and I have more air in the batter, that I'll get some more hollows, but I will get those tall feet. So it also could deal with the amount that you're mixing. Those are almost done. Person at the front doorbell. Okay, I keep it at 300 and get a little brown. So that's so annoying because you're dealing with either the browning of your cookie, or you're getting hollows from a little bit lower of temperature. And I feel like maybe that's when you have to play with, have you played with the racks, like where your rack is in your oven? That could potentially help, or just putting some parchment at the very last minute or so over your cookie so it doesn't brown. That could help too. All right. These somehow, like, I used to bake for like 22 minutes and these feel almost done and it's only been 16 minutes. So it's so interesting, the different weather and how everything affects our bake. Seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. All right. So here's our other ones. I'll show you guys with I'll show you guys next to these, and you can kind of see if, oh, they kind of stayed the same. That's usually not the way it is. My oven stayed at 300, so that was good. Maybe I kept them in too long. Either way, let's have these cool a little bit, and then I can compare. I'll open one up and you can see the higher gap here, but I do have the bigger feet too. relative to the last batch. So I'm gonna put these, take them off the pan so that they can cool faster, so we can chat about them. And then we'll move. Okay, so I find a traditional oven with a good vent helps with less browning, more even cooking. Yes, okay. Sometimes I think, yeah, Dawn, they're all over the place, right? I settled at 300 for 18 minutes, and I have a little gap and pretty nice. I've learned to embrace both. Yes, I'm all about a little gap. I don't know why a little gap is bad. I'm just gonna say that. It really, if you're maturing your product, no one's gonna tell when they eat it. If you have a huge hollow, most of your filling has fluffed out and ruffled out in your feet, and you have a fragile top, yes, that's like a problem with your method, right? We overmixed, or our meringue wasn't stiff enough, and the batter lost all of its strength. Those types of things happen, but having a very nice sturdy shell and meat in your cookie is going to give you a great product. I really think gap is natural. Yes, I love that. I feel like the gap is a natural thing. Exactly. Unless you have this big, like, honestly, I've said it before, but in pastry school, never once when we made macarons did our instructors talk about a gap. It just wasn't even part of what we were striving to achieve. It was never about how full our macaron was. It was about the bite and how it tasted and the filling we were filling it with, and obviously having the feet and everything like that and no cracks. Like, the structure of your macaron is what matters. We did not talk about make sure it's full and ways to make sure it's full. So yeah, if that helps anyone feel better about a gap, I hope, it does. So let's see. Next thing. That heat in my oven to higher temperature and reduce. Yes, Chrissy was saying start a little bit higher and then reduce temperature. I really like that method too, especially if you're having trouble really getting some feet at lower temperatures in your oven, so you need it a little higher, and then reduce down so it stays high as soon as or it stays at the right temperature when you put your tray in, and then it kind of reduces down as it cooks, but it does get that initial heat to raise your feet. I'm so glad your feet are not, your tops are not fragile. I love that. Yes, I love that. Full macaron came from Korean and Russian macaron culture, I think. Okay. And to each their own, right? That's, if they want a bite with that full macaron, that's great for them. But we don't all need to worry about it. I think there's something unique about Russian weather. Oh, interesting. Now I kind of want to do a science project on the weather. I made it in time to watch today. I'm so excited you were here too, Dawn. Okay, let me wash my hands real fast. I'm going to take a couple of the second tray off just so I can show you the difference and just the gap that initially, it just happens naturally with my bigger oven as opposed to that little toaster oven. All right, thank you for waiting. Hopefully my batter's still good after sitting too. So we've got our things. They're pretty cool, but my hands are still wet. I didn't dry them all the way. Don't want to get my macarons wet. So why am I flinging? Okay. I broke open a back last time, so technically I should break open a front this time to keep it. So here's our feet, and you might not be able to tell, but it is a little bit whiter from my electric, this oven. Just a slightest shade of more white. Not a ton though, but let me try to break it without crushing it completely. Okay, there. I think I kept it. See how there's that gap? Lisa, if you're still here, and try to lift it so it's, I feel like that is completely normal. Yes, yes, Don, I'm so happy you were here. You made it. So that's a pretty big gap, right? I'm trying to make it so it's not crushed, so you can kind of tell, but oh well. There, just taking it off. But look at all that meat still. So as soon as you fill it, it kind of goes like this, and you're not gonna even tell, right? The filling kind of presses that up, and it fills it in, and it's all good. You feel like you've been lied to, Lisa? Oh, man. Judy, I'm so glad you were here. Yes. And thank you guys all. Sorry that I was eating again. I am going to say goodbye after that. So we have our cute little Hello Kitty macarons. I feel like still my placement on some of these bows, this one's better. But I have to make sure that they look real nice. So I might do next time less faces at a time, so I'm not feeling rushed when I add the sprinkles. This one's nice. I like that bow. It's like a Minnie Mouse bow. But yeah, or maybe I could take royal icing, but then that defeats the purpose of not having to do royal icing, and just put like a little dot in the middle or like a line. I don't know. I'm just overthinking at this point. But thank you guys so much for being here. I feel like it will mature perfectly fine. Exactly, Dawn. I feel the same. I feel the same. Here's the ones from the other oven. So obviously without the face, it looks like, what is that? But with the face, I feel like it pulls it together. As always, the tiny dancing chef. I love that so much, Dawn. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Lorene. I really appreciate you guys all. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I'm so glad I got to do this. Yeah, just hit me up. I mean, I put out my newsletter every week, but if you have questions about what just happened, definitely email me. Thank you, Lisa, for being here. I hope yours turned out really well, your violet ones. Keep me posted. All right. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Doreen, thank you again too. Yep. Okay. I am so bad at saying goodbye, so I'm gonna just say goodbye and thank you. Bye, guys. Bye, Dawn.